Welcome, everybody. Welcome back into day two of our virtual summit, which is all about helping you to overcome procrastination. Now, we're on day one. We talked about the root cause of procrastination. Shekhar told you about some of the amazing information that you may ever gather in your life. And also, at the end of the day one, we showed you that there is a difference between the knowledge we gather and the knowledge we execute. And the whole process of overcoming procrastination depends upon minimizing that difference between what you know and what you do. And that's what today's session is going to be all about, where we will show you how to create habits. Because habit once developed can change the course of your whole life. Somebody said that habit is God's way to automate good in your life. But our problem is that by default, we have even automated bad into our life. So today, we are going to show you, first of all, how to discover your bad habits and then how to convert your bad habits into good habits. So today's presentation is again divided into two parts. In the first part, Shekhar will share some amazing ideas with you. And in the second part, I'll take you on a journey of mine. So Shekhar, over to you to
Yeah,
take our audience to the first part.
absolutely. I'll just share my screen.
And in the meanwhile, Shekhar is sharing his screen. I want all of you to comment in the chat box if you have done the day one exercise. Type done in the chat box. And remember, if you are going to do the exercises we are going to suggest you to do, then only you will get the results that you want. All right, Shekhar, we can see your presentation.
Okay, so welcome everyone to day two of Cure for Procrastination Virtual Summit. And today, as you know, we are going to talk about habits. I am going to talk about the types of habits and how to recognize which habits are going to take you ahead in life and which habits are making you feel stuck at the present moment where you are. To begin with, let's see that, recall someone in your life who you know was always acting instantly on any idea. It could be a friend, it could be your parents or anybody. You must have seen somebody who, whenever they get an idea, start acting instantly on it. And I'm quite sure we also have seen people who are always thinking about, starting something on a certain date, maybe a week later, 2 weeks later, and then that gets converted and postponed to a month later, 2 months later, to the point that the idea is never executed. Now, there are people who have a habit of reading for 1 hour every day regarding the field that they are in. They want to have information about the latest things happening in their industry. And they spend 1 hour every day of their time reading about their industry, reading about the field that they're interested in. And we also have people who make an excuse that they do not have time for reading. We have seen people who complete their tasks right before the deadline, sometimes on the day of deadline, but that's what matters to them, to be either before the deadline or to submit it on the deadline. And at the same time, we also see people who are missing deadlines. It's like it's so okay for them. If they have a deadline of 30th June, they will submit it on the 5th or 7th of July as if like nothing has happened. It's not so serious to meet deadlines. You see, whether we meet people whose characteristics and traits represent the ones that we see on the left hand side of the screen, or we meet people who have the traits that we see on the right hand side of the screen, what we have to understand is that these two different types of individuals, including us, all of us are creatures of habit. These are habits. Acting on an idea instantly is a habit, and starting an idea's execution late or never ever putting action into it is also a habit. Dedicating some time every day to reading about the thing that you're interested in, the thing in which you want to grow, is a habit. And making excuses that you do not have time to read is also a habit. Completing all your tasks before the deadline is a habit. And missing the deadlines is also a habit. It's automatic. It happens because of whatever it is that we are repeatedly thinking throughout the day. So we have to find out in which category do we fall. For this, we need to understand that there are two types of habits. Basically, if you categorize, there are many types of habits, but in personal development industry, we concentrate on two types of habits, and they are the productive ones. These productive habits are beneficial to us, beneficial to our projects, beneficial to the people who we do business with. These productive habits are constructive in nature. You see, every time we get an idea that I can do this thing a little bit better from today onwards, and from tomorrow I'll put in more effort into this, that's a constructive idea. It means I want my business to come to a fruition just the way I have imagined it to be. Because I'm looking for growth, and I need to have productive habits to work with to see my growth. Else, I am working with the other type of habit, which is the unproductive habit. I have to see whether I'm stuck in my life in a certain place or not. If I am, it means I'm doing things that are fruitless. I am taking action, but then leaving it halfway through. And that's the only reason why I feel stuck. Everything that I do is ineffective. It means I am involved with unproductive habits. If I am meeting my goals in the deadline that I have specified, then it means I have been involved in with productive habits throughout the day. This is what we need to understand. This explains why some entrepreneurs and brands are always selling more and they're expanding more. We are always questioning why. Why are these some select individuals or these select brands who are doing too good even in the pandemic session? How? Why? The answer is simple. Just the way we understood habits, they also understand something about habits. They are always upgrading and experimenting with the latest things happening in business technology so that they can automate their sales, so that they can take care of the customers once the product has been sold. They are trying to do everything to automate, to delegate, possibly everything that comes in their idea, they execute it immediately. They are experimenting with different things that are happening in the market. They are studying their customer segment deeply every single day. They are updated with how their customer segments are changing their purchasing behavior. And based on this, they come out with plans on how to sell to their customer segment, because they are continuously studying about their customer segment. They are continuously studying about or investing in technologies which can automate most of their processes. They're always thinking about expansion by acting on productive ideas. You can talk about social media influencers, you can talk about startup brands, you can talk about well-established brands that are about a decade old. They're all in their place, they are all in their topmost position because they're upgrading and experimenting with all the ideas that they're getting. They are training their staff in the same way. They're acting on productive ideas all day long. They are thinking of expansion, of opening companies, offshore companies in different countries, and then using the same strategies of sales by understanding the customer segment of that industry, of that country, and then working with plans each and every single day. That's why they are the topmost producers. That's why they are making the topmost sales. And that's why they are expanding. Even though the news says that in the pandemic session, we are going through a lot of loss in the economy globally. And yet these brands and these social media influencers are expanding. They're making more sales. Well, maybe during some time, for maybe about a quarter or 2 quarters, they might have had seen a drop in their sales, a drop in the expansion plan. But they were resilient. They did not give up. They knew that they have to be persistent in the habit of producing content and letting their customer segment know about what it is that they are going to deliver to them tomorrow, day after, this week, this month, next month. Everything is planned out. They are working with a definite plan every single day. They are making their teams work with a definite plan every single day they come to the office. That's how they're expanding their sales. That's how they're opening up new offshore companies in different countries, because they understand that habitual behavior of an individual, of a team, of a corporate collectively is what determines the results of the individual, of the team, or of the corporate. They understand this. They know that there are certain people who are action takers, and there are certain people who are information collectors. What action takers mainly do is, if they see a 5-minute YouTube video or read one chapter of a book or maybe one page of a book, they get inspired to take action towards their goal by learning the fresh information and then applying it instantly. That's who action takers are. Information collectors, on the other hand, keep on collecting a lot of information throughout the day. Day after day, week after week, they're only collecting information and they're not taking much action. And when they're taking action, fear steps in. They step back and go back to collecting more information on the subject, but really not making a definite plan, really not thinking of doing something every single day that can take them closer to their goals. There's one difference between them: the difference of achievement. The action takers always end up being the high achievers, the topmost producers. It takes time. Slowly but surely, they do become high achievers of their industry. It's because they're taking action every day. If they're failing, they have a quality of resilience in their consciousness. They're getting back up again. They're making new definite plans. If the last plan did not work, doesn't matter. Revise the entire plan, revise the operations, revise the management if it's required. They don't blame others. But information collectors become lazy when it comes to taking action. They keep on collecting a lot of information, PDFs after PDFs, listening to lectures all day long, doing everything regarding their field, but not taking action, not going on to doing the things that will actually get them connected to their customer segment. First, we need to get connected to our customer segment before we think about making sales to them. The low achievers know all of these things, but the high achievers start putting this thing into action, and they actually end up selling their products to their customer segment in due time. See, the thing is to keep on working towards your goals and towards your goals and dreams every single day. And in that way, you will be taking action every single day. You will not fear failure at all. It's just temporary. The permanent thing is that once you have seen your wish already fulfilled, keep that emotion with you and keep on working with that emotion. Make it a habit. If this becomes your habitual behavior, that no matter what's happening on the outside, I have my vision inside my consciousness. I can see it clearly through my faculty of imagination, and I'm working towards it every single day. One task a day, two tasks a day, 3, 4, 5, 6, it does not matter. I have a habitual behavior of working towards my goal every single day. No excuses, period. This is the kind of behavior that we need to develop by developing habits that are productive. And for this, we have to change no one else on the outside. We don't have to change any situation, circumstance. We have to change something inside of us. We have to change something in our consciousness, in our thinking. Before we become high achievers, we have to understand one thing, and that is whether we are stuck in a vicious circle or not. You see, try to recall if there's any one thing or maybe multiple things that we do throughout the day that we don't want to do, but we end up doing it anyway, as if it's automatic. Are we getting the results that we don't want to get? We have to go deep into this. We have to look at everything, each and every result in each and every area of our life. We have to look at it. Is it something that we wanted? If it's not what we wanted, it means in the past, And still in the present, we are entertaining negative emotions because of which our results haven't yet manifested, because of which we haven't come into the habit of becoming the person that we want to become. And we will recognize that we are in a vicious circle when we keep on doing these things over and over again every single day without taking any action towards the new objective that we have set for ourselves. It is then that we will come to know that we are stuck in a vicious circle, and we have to come out of this to become high achievers. And to do that, we have to stop feeling comfortable in the place that we are. There will be a little bit of uncomfortable feeling when we are working towards a big goal that's scaring us and exciting us at the same time. But we have to persist in going ahead and taking action every single day of our life to make sure that our goals, our dreams manifest. We are the ones responsible for the manifestation. We have to study the laws of the universe deeply. We have to apply these laws in our thinking and then see the results on the outside changing. And then see ourselves coming out of this vicious circle where we will not be doing things that we don't want to do. Instead, high achievers do the things that they love to do and they do it throughout the day. And therefore, they get the results that they always have been waiting for because they are working systematically and practically every single day towards growth. By implying productive habits, they recognize their unproductive habits and then replace it with productive habits, changing 1 to 2 habits at a time. So if you think that the results you have in your life right now, that's something you absolutely don't want, then you have to stop continuing behaving and having habits that are going to give you the same results over and over again tomorrow, next week, next month, worst case, next year, the same results. And we don't want that. So, what we need to do is we need to concentrate on habits. We have to form productive habits. We have to form the habit of reading every single day of the things that we are interested in. We have to form the habit of submitting everything in the deadline that we have given to ourselves. It's self-discipline. We have to make all the decision and it all has to be made today. Otherwise, we will be stuck in this vicious circle, not really understanding why things are not manifesting for us. Whereas other influencers, other personal brands, other companies, they're growing every single day. Every month you hear about their news of growth. They are changing their habits. And that's exactly what we need to do. We have to become more productive. And the only way is to take action and change our unproductive habits into productive ones. And now, after this, Sukhveer will tell you about the tips and tricks on how to develop a new habit altogether. Remember, we are concentrating on developing productive habits from now on. So, from here onwards, I would like to pass it over to Sukhveer. Sukhveer, over to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Shaker. It has been absolutely phenomenal talk. I've been watching people in the chat box, and when you was sharing the concept of information gathering and taking action, people can clearly relate to that, how they have been just information gatherers. And I told them, that we all have been the information gatherers in our life, because
Yeah.
now what I want to share with you right now is something very powerful. You see, when we was in schools, we were judged based upon the information that we have gathered. For example, you were given a book, you read the book, you reread the book, and then in the exam, you were asked a couple of questions. And if you answer those questions in a right manner, you were you will get grades. Like, let's say you scored 70, 80 out of 100, you may get an A or A plus. You scored 50 to 60, you may get a B. You scored below 30 or 40, something like that, you get a C grade. So you see, since our school, our college, and even when you reach your training sometime in professional training in your, let's say, in your office, you are always judged upon what you know. And this is where we have to understand that this is not our fault, but if we don't change it, that will be our fault then. In other words, Who you are right now, it's not your fault. But who you are going to become from this point onwards, it's 100% your responsibility. And that's what I'm going to share with you right now in the next, more 10 to 15 minutes. But before we go ahead with that, I want all of you to take maybe 5 minutes and so. All right. Take 5 minutes or so, or maybe 5 minutes are too much. Take few seconds and right now in the chat box, let us know which habit you want to change. Go to the chat box and right now type in the chat box which habit you want to change. Your time starts now. I'm waiting to see your comments. Go to the chat box, type in the chat box the habit that you want to change. Go to the chat box and type the habit that you want to change. Because in the end of the day, I'm going to share with you how to change that habit. All right. And I'm going to tell you what is actually required in changing the habit. It's a process. And many people only know one or two step of the process. And this is where the problem occurs. Many people watch videos on YouTube. Many people, watch, read from a book that, okay, this is how I can change a habit. And then they try to change it, but then nothing happens. All right. Now, maybe you can go on YouTube and you can check a video how to change a habit. And the person will tell you, write an affirmation. Writing an affirmation is absolute a great way. But there is more that goes along with writing an affirmation. All right, let me read some of the comments that are out there. All right, so Linda said, I want to overcome the habit of overeating. Okay. And then we have Priyanka, not taking action every single day. All right, then we have Murli, who said, I want to change the habit of procrastinating everything. Akashdeep said, self-doubt. Chintan said, I'm going to change the habit of thinking too much. All right. Amy said, not following up. Prema said, taking too much time to jump into action sometime. All right. Ramatuhal said, I want to change the habit of say yes every time. Okay. Siddharth said, laziness and sleeping. All right. Now, these are the most common habits that we all want to change, right? But before we can change a habit, we must know that about our mind. Now, that's what I'm going to explain you right now. So pay attention to me for the next 10, 20, 15 minutes. All right. So if you can see the white screen, just say yes in the chat box. If you can see it, say yes, I can see in the chat box, my dear friends. If you can see the white screen, say yes in the chat box. If you can see, all right, Linda said yes. All right, perfect. So now let us understand about the mind, okay? Because if we don't understand the mind, we cannot change a habit. This is absolutely essential and absolutely true. Now, why I say that? For example, when we think in pictures. Now, if I say think about mango, an image of the mango will appear on the screen of your mind. If I say think about your favorite car, it may be Jaguar, or it may be BMW, or it may be Cadillac, or it may be Tesla, whatever that is, an image of the car will jump on the screen of your mind. And if I say think about your favorite pet, an image of your favorite pet will appear on the screen of your mind. It may be a dog, it may be a cat, or it may be a parrot, anything. And if I ask you think about your mind, most of you will be stunned silence. You know why? Because we have no image for the mind. And when we have no image for the mind, this is where the confusion is created. Now, there was a doctor, a great doctor in San Antonio, in Texas in 1934, who drew an image. And he said, all the medical profession has been treating the symptom of disease. And if we want complete health, we have to treat the root cause. And then he said the root cause is the mind, but our problem is nobody has ever seen the mind. Then he drew this diagram. He said, let this big circle represents your mind. Okay. And let this small circle represent your body. And then he said, mind and body are connected. And we added on another dimension to that in our body, we have what we call as a brain right here. All right. And then our mind is divided into two parts, the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. Now, when we say habit, You have to understand that your habits are in your subconscious mind, they are not in your conscious mind. Now, this is what most people don't understand. Now, most people think that consciously thinking about changing my habit will change my habit. That's not going to happen, because you see, when you think about changing a habit, you're dealing with your conscious mind. And when you're dealing with your conscious mind, you're no longer making any significant shift, because dealing with your conscious mind is the starting point, but that doesn't bring the shift. The shift happens when you take an idea. Now, that idea can be waking up at 5 a.m. Now you can keep chanting every day, I want to wake up at 5 a.m. Keep chanting, I want to wake up at 5 a.m. Keep repeating, I want to wake up at 5 a.m. But until or unless you don't get emotionally involved with waking up at 5 a.m., you will never wake up at 5 a.m. Remember, because when you just simply chant and you just simply think about it and you just simply write your affirmations, you're no longer dealing with the part of your mind that controls your behavior. The part of your mind that controls your behavior is your subconscious mind. And you got to learn how to plant an idea from your conscious mind to your subconscious mind. Now, how we do that? To do so, we have to mix emotions with our ideas. That's what Napoleon Hill talks about. He said, any idea, that you mix emotions with will ultimately find its way to the subconscious mind. And in fact, Andrew Carnegie put that in a very great perspective. He said, any idea that is held in the mind, that means that is held right here in the conscious mind, is emphasized, that means is impressed upon the subconscious mind, is either feared, that means either impressed with the negative emotion, or revered, or that means either mixed with a positive emotion, will find itself and clothe itself into the most appropriate form available. That means any idea that is held in the mind, that is held in the conscious mind, is emphasized, that means is impressed upon the subconscious mind, will ultimately manifest itself into the physical reality. Now, this is the challenge. When many people try to change their habits, most of the time they're only dealing with their conscious mind. And remember, it is not your conscious mind that controls the behavior of your body. Your behavior, it is controlled by the ideas, the habits that are right there in your subconscious mind. And since we are dealing with the conscious mind, since we are studying book, we are feeding the information to our conscious mind, absolutely nothing changes in our life. You see, Shekhar talked about knowledge gatherer and action takers. The knowledge gatherers are always right there on their conscious mind. They're always dealing with their conscious mind. Let me give you another example of a knowledge gatherers. Knowledge gatherer are those people who will always keep on looking out for new ways, new trainings. They will attend thousands of trainings, and at the end of the day, if you look at their results will be nada, absolutely zero. I can tell you, you can keep going from one program to another program, and absolutely nothing will change until or unless you don't understand how to take the information from your conscious mind and plant it bang to your subconscious mind. Now, you might be thinking, Sukhbir, how to do it? Now, this is where you have to understand a couple of things. You see, there are two things that you have to do if you want to take an information from the conscious mind to the subconscious mind. The first thing is that effective education, not just any education, it's about effective education. Now, you got to take effective education, and effective education is not just any education. It is an education that you are taking with the perspective to solve a certain situation in your life. In other words, when you take an information and you direct it towards a purpose, that is an effective education. When I study from Bob, I learned what is effective education. Think and Grow Rich in itself is an effective education. But then again, there is a missing part to that. You know what I said? There are two parts to changing that. One is the effective education. And the second part of this is it gotta be combined with professional coaching. Now, this is the point I want to emphasize right here. You can have the best swimming manual in the world, and you can read everything about swimming, and you can know every single move about swimming. But until or unless you don't hire a professional coach who teach you how to swim, who actually hold your hand and who takes you through process step by step, you will never be able to become a perfect swimmer. So you see, it's not just about education. There is tons of education available right now in today's world because we are living in the information age. You go to YouTube right now, you search about whatever you want, bang, it's right there. That information is valuable information, but you got to go one step beyond that. And the one step beyond that is you need a professional coaching. Shaker is getting great results in his life because he gone through the professional coaching. I'm getting professional results in my life because I gone through professional coaching. You see, to become a doctor, you need to study for many years, and then you need to practice for many years before you can make a paycheck. And when you make a paycheck, you will earn a lot of money being a doctor. And not just being a doctor, with every profession, you got to learn that profession. But when it comes to our own personal development, people take personal development for granted. And that's a hard and the bitter truth. People will always go with the belief system that I'll figure it out, that I'll figure it out. You may be, but nobody knows how many hours or how many days or how many months or how many years it will take. And Raymond Holliwell talks about it in his book. And keep in mind that book has been written many, many years ago. He said, it is better to have a quick start with the help of someone who has already demonstrated through their results that they know what they're talking about. And as we progress in this 5 days virtual summit, I'm going to share great ideas with you. I'm going to show you more great information that how to really overpower that habit. But today, how to change that habit, I'm going to give you an exercise. Now, the exercise is very simple. Anybody can do it, all right? Anybody can do it. Now, when I say anybody can do it, I absolutely mean it, that anybody can do it. But you have to understand that you have to do that exercise with the mindset of taking an idea from your conscious mind and planting it to your subconscious mind. Now, the basic is affirmation. The basic is affirmation. You got to apply the principle of auto suggestion, like Shaker has shared brilliant example with you. I really love the way, when Shaker said that high achievers are action takers and the low achievers are knowledge gatherers. Now, you have already figured it out in which category you are. Now is the time to shift that category. All right. So the exercise for the today is, you got to take a blank sheet of paper, and on that sheet of paper, write down every habit that you don't like about yourself. All right. And apart from that, there will be another exercise that will be sent to you through email. All right. So there are two parts of it. But the first part is that write down on a blank sheet of paper that what are the habits that you don't like about yourself. And then literally do the same thing that you did yesterday, burn that paper. Remember, when I say burn that paper, it's symbolic. It's symbolic to give your mind an idea that those habits are no longer in me right now. They are going away. Although they will not go away like that, because you have to constantly replace them. Remember, we never change a habit. We always replace a habit. All right. So how to replace a habit? This is where conscious repetition with emotional involvement come into place. Now, let's take an example of somebody has mentioned in the chat box that I want to wake up at 5 a.m. every day, but I'm not doing it. Now, you cannot wake up at 5 a.m. every day until or unless you don't mix emotions with waking up at 5 a.m. What are your reasons to wake up at 5 a.m.? Now, let me put a question towards you. I think you can remember the time when you had a train or a taxi, or maybe you wanted to go to a different city, and the time was around 5 a.m. and you woke up at 4. You was ready to leave home by 4:30. You know that you have to reach station before 5, otherwise the train, you will miss it. And you see how we change our behavior when we are under the compulsion of a certain thing. You gotta put yourself under the compulsion of the reasons why you want to wake up. People who don't put themselves under the compulsion of doing something will never be able to do it. So you see, the idea is you have solid reasons to wake up at 5 a.m. If you don't have solid reasons, you won't wake up. There is no question about it. Now, let me brief you some more ideas right here, because I believe it is very important for you to understand some more good information about your mind. If you can see that the screen, just type yes in the chat box, because I want to explain certain ideas right here to you. Because now you understand about this habit and all that stuff. Let me just share some more ideas right here. And meanwhile, in the chat box, all right, write down one habit now that you want to develop. You talked about one habit that you want to change earlier. Now write down the opposite of that habit and tell me the habit that you want to develop. Your time starts now. In the meanwhile, I just sort out this whiteboard right here. Okay, go to the chat box and type in the chat box the one habit that you want to develop, guys. Go to the chat box and write down one habit that you want to develop. All right, so we have the board ready. Go to the chat box, guys, and write down the one habit that you want to develop. All right, so we have many comments coming in. Self-belief, I want to develop the habit of waking up at 4:30 a.m. Exercise and meditation. All right, these are good habits. Remember, any habit that you want to develop, Atul said to have yoga every day. That's good, Atul. But remember my point, my dear friend. With every habit that you want to develop, you should have a solid reason why you want to develop that habit. Without a solid reason, it won't work. Without a solid reason, it will be like a car without a tire that will go nowhere. Now, that may seem funny, but that's the truth. All right. All right, perfect. So here is our mind right here. Okay, as we discussed earlier. Now we have a conscious and a subconscious mind, and this is right here our body. All right, and we have the brain. Our mind, it is divided into two parts. We have a conscious mind and we have a subconscious mind. Now remember that your conscious mind, this is the part of your mind with which you gather knowledge. All right, and your subconscious mind is the part of your mind that controls your behavior. How it controls your behavior? It controls your behavior through habits. Now, the most of the things that you do on everyday basis, only 2 to 4% of the things are controlled by the conscious mind, while rest of the 96 to 98% of the things that you do on everyday basis are controlled by your subconscious mind. Like, for example, when you wake up in the morning, you don't have to remind yourself to brush your teeth. You straight away get into the washroom and you brush your teeth. When you wake up, you don't have to tell yourself, hey, come on, go and take a bath. It is an automatic reaction. When you wake up, you go and take a bath. Right? And when you eat, don't have to remind yourself, oh, I'm a right-hander, I should eat with my right hand. You automatically do it. And when you are talking to a prospect, you don't have to remind yourself how to talk to your prospect. You do it automatically. But most of the behaviors that are on autopilot, they are not serving you. Right? For example, you may be having an autopilot mode. When you wake up in the morning, you have an autopilot mode to put this on snooze. And you may be doing it every time, maybe every 5 minutes. It wakes you, bang, snooze. It wakes you, bang, snooze. It wakes you, snooze. And then after 1 hour, oh God, still I am not awake. You may be doing that. And then maybe another habit, you may be a salesperson, right? And you know you have to make a call and you're sitting in front of your laptop, having phone in hand, thinking about, I should call this prospect. I should call this prospect. And straight away, no, let me play a game first. And then you go play Candy Crush, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour. And then you say, oh my God, should I call that prospect now or not? No, it's afternoon. He may not pick my phone. He may be busy. He may be doing that. Then your paradigms give you all kind of silly reasons why you should not make the call. And similarly, when you plan to go to gym, you have a committed decision. I am going to gym today. And then you have a time to go to gym, maybe at 5 a.m. in the morning. You wake up at 5:15 and you said, 5:15, I'm late. No point to go now. I may be late. I may not be able to give my full exercise, blah, blah. Then again, you're into a bad habit. And then maybe, your habit of, like somebody said, eating. Now you have made a decision that I want to eat less, I want to eat healthy, and all of a sudden you are going through your browser and you see an ad from Zomato. And keep in mind, these guys are very tricky these days. But these are not tricky, these are just marketing geniuses. Like yesterday I received an email saying that, who told you that you cannot have a pizza in the afternoon? Now that's a genius ad, you know. So you see something like that, and all of a sudden your mind said, "Oh, let me have order it something," and your paradigm gives you all kind of reasons why you shouldn't do it. This is the reason where you have to step out of your own way, understanding that it's not only about knowledge, it's about gaining conscious control over your behavior. And it's just up till certain point. Up till certain point, you have to gain that conscious control, and then it will be automatic. Like for example, when you was a little baby, your parents told you over and over again, brush your teeth in the morning, brush your teeth in the morning, brush your teeth in the morning, and then all of a sudden it's become an automatic. That's the same way you have to remind yourself. But at the same time, the biggest picture is awareness, because it's not just conscious study, it's awareness. Awareness comes with study, and study comes with effective education, and that combined with professional coaching. And when we will reach the fourth and the fifth day of our virtual summit, we are going to show you what that coaching is. We are going to show you what that effective education and professional coaching is all about. And we will have a surprise for you. Uh, Although I was planning to open that surprise a few days later, but I'll open it right now, right here for you. Although this summit is just for 5 days, but on the sixth and the seventh days, we will have bonus, sessions for you, which will be maybe Q&A and something like that. And on Sunday, we will have a very, very special webinar for you. Maybe it on Sunday or on which day we will plan and let it know. All right. And in that webinar, we'll show you exactly what is professional coaching and why you need to get into professional coaching. So be ready for that. But for now, I want all of you to take out your blank sheets of paper and write down an affirmation that I want you to do every single day. Write it 10 times from today onwards and post it in our WhatsApp group, in our Facebook group, wherever you are, post it at. Because that is an accountability assignment. And based upon that accountability assignment, whoever do it every single day, that person will have some special surprises from Human Potential Growth. So we are going to reward you for your efforts. All right. So write down the affirmation. The affirmation is that I am so happy and grateful now that I am so happy and grateful now that I am a committed decision maker. That's all. I'm so happy and grateful now that I am a committed decision maker. All right, add another line. I make decisions very quickly and I never change them. I made decisions very quickly and I never change them. I repeat, I'm so happy and grateful now that I am a committed decision maker. I make decisions quickly and I never change them. And keep in mind, this affirmation, if you keep writing it every day, it will serve you for the rest of your life. And you will have a test of your affirmation every single day. So your test is today. Do you make a committed decision to write it 10 times every day? If yes, type yes in the chat box. If yes, type yes in the chat box that I am going to do it. Type yes in the chat box that I am going to do it. You can simply write I am, because I am is the word that we love. Isn't that, Shekhar?
Absolutely, Sukhveer. I am defines your awareness.
Exactly, it does. So I'm really excited for the upcoming 3 days, because people are absolutely going to have amazing information and amazing ideas. All right, so people are writing I am. Wonderful. So on that note, thank you so much for being here, guys. If you haven't updated us about your day one exercise, make sure that you go to our Facebook group, post it there, because every single accountability post will earn you some points. And then you will earn yourself some gifts that you don't know what they are right now, but you will came to know them by the end of the summit. So till then, thank you so much for being here. We'll see you tomorrow at the same time. Till then, take care. Live the life the way you want to live. Thank you so much, Shekhar. I'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you, Sukhveer.
Perfect, everybody. Bye. See you tomorrow.